Hey yo! So, this is the M25 AAHL TZC Paper 1, and this is Andrew, your resident tutor. Let's kick us off with question 1 on logarithms. Log base 10 of 24, that's log base 10 of 8 times 3. That's gonna be log base 10 of 8 plus log base 10 of 3. Log base 10 of 8, that's gonna be 3 times log base 10 of 2. And you should get 3p plus q as your final answer. Second part, log base 3 of 8. Using the change of base, we can express this as log base 10 of 8 divided by log base 10 of 3, and that should give you 3p divided by q. End of question 1, which is worth 5 marks. If you know what you're doing, this question should not take you more than a minute. Question 2. First part, write down the value of f of negative 3. As we can stare at a graph, f of negative 3 is equal to negative 1. Part B, what is the domain of the inverse function? The domain of the inverse is the same thing as the range of the original function. And the range of f is between negative 3 and 5. So your domain would be negative 3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5. In part C, you're asked to find the value of x so that this equation is true. What we can do is we can apply f to both sides of the equation. The right-hand side, f of negative 3, we know that is negative 1. F of the inverse, that places us back to where we start. And now we just gotta solve for x. And this is the end of question 2. Question 3. Question 3 concerns a very simple trig equation. To be fair, I'm a bit surprised that they give you this equation this very early on. I was expecting, maybe a bit more scaffolding per se. Cos of 2 theta. There are 3 identities we can use for cos of 2 theta. You should have all of them memorized. However, we're going to use the one that is only in terms of cosine, as we have this cos to the 1 term over here. And we would like to change it into a hidden quadratic equation. Cos of 2 theta, that is equal to 2 cos squared minus 1. So the equation now becomes this. 4 cos squared of theta minus 5 cos of theta is equal to 0. Factor cos of theta out. That gives you 4 cos of theta minus 5 is equal to 0. So cos of theta is 0, or cos of theta is 5 by 4. However, we know that cos of theta is always between negative 1 and 1 for all real theta. Thus, this guy will have no solution whatsoever. Cos of theta is equal to 0 if theta is pi by 2, or 3 pi by 2, or maybe 5 pi by 2, and so on. If you do not recall this off the top of your head, you're more than welcome to sketch it out. 2 cycles would be more than sufficient. We are only interested in the interval between pi and 2 pi. Thus, the only solution we have is 3 pi by 2. The reason this question is written like this is that it is trying to bait a couple students. Some of you might have done this, and they would treat cos of 2 theta as cos squared of theta. Noticing that this guy is perfectly factorizable. So you would get 2 cos of theta minus 1 times cos of theta minus 2 is equal to 0, and so on. And if you do this, it would take examiners 3 seconds to give you a fat 0, because this guy's wrong. Question 4. A. Should the curve and the line meet when whatever? Okay, so they meet if and only if the two expressions are equal. So in other words, minus x minus 1 minus mx plus 3 is equal to 0. It is a show that question, so please show all your work. And that's it, people. 2 marks. Easy peasy. Part B. Hence, find the values of m where the line is tangent to the curve. So the line is tangent to the curve if and only if this equation right here has exactly one solution. It has one solution if and only if delta is equal to 0. So delta is equal to b squared minus 4ac. And we got to set equal to 0. Now we just got to solve this equation, which is pretty straightforward. And that would give you the two values of m that you're looking for. 7 marks, once again, for a well-prepared student. This question should take you no more than 2 minutes. Question 5 requires a deeper level of conceptual understanding. X is normally distributed with a mean of 7 and standard deviation A. Y is also normally distributed with a mean of 19 and standard deviation A. So, if you will, we can quickly sketch these two distributions out. So if it is 7, 8, 16, that should be 19. They would have the same peak as they have the same standard deviation. Okay. Part A. Find the value of b such that the probability that x is greater than b is equal to p of y greater than 22. Where is 22? 22 is over here. For example, doesn't matter, you don't have to be ultra precise with this. If 22 is over here, we are talking this probability here. So we can normalize this, right? If we normalize y, we would get p of z greater than 22 minus 19 over a. If we normalize on the left hand side, we would get p of x greater than b minus 7 over a. Sorry, this should be a z, not an x. Therefore, b minus 7 has to be equal to 22 minus 19, or b is equal to 10. You don't need to do that much math, because if you notice that the two distributions have the same standard deviation, if this guy is 3 units away, that guy also has to be 3 units away. Easy peasy. Part B. Write down the value of p of 7 minus a less than x less than 7 plus a. What is a here again? A is your standard deviation. This is basically asking, do you remember the three values that you should remember for the normal distribution. Notably, this is a very quick recap. 68% of the distribution will be between -1 and 1. 95% will be between -2 and 2. You can include the equal sign, doesn't matter. And 99% would be between -3 and 3. So therefore, the final answer is 0.68. Done. Part C. Given that A is equal to 3, calculate the approximate value of y less than 22. Okay, so if A is equal to 3, P of y less than 22 has to be equal to P of x less than 10. How do we know this? We can go back to part A. P of x less than 10 is equal to what? P of x less than 10, that is P of z less than 1. We know that 68% of all the data is between z equals to -1 and 1. So if we are to quickly sketch this out, if this is 0, that's -1, that's 1. We know that this part is 0.68, and we are looking for this big part over here. We also know that the entire distribution will add up to 1. If the entire thing adds up to 1, between -1 and 1 is 0.68. That means this purple part and that purple part, both of them will add up to 0.34 or 32. If the two purple pieces add up to 0.32, one purple piece will be 0.16. This is the piece we're looking for. How do we find it? This is going to be 1, the entire thing, minus 0.16 that will remove. So your final answer will be 0.84. So good so far, eh? Not too much going on, I would say. And they're OSL stuff.